Got the unit itself, two 20 volt 4 amp hour batteries, a fast charger that does both batteries at the same time. Now this unit takes 2 batteries, and you might wonder, can I run it slower or for less long with one battery? And the answer is no. It's a 40 volt chainsaw, which is fine. I mean, these things need a lot of juice, so running off 2 of these batteries is perfectly reasonable. So fast charger, a very small bottle of chainsaw oil that you're going to need to keep topped up, an Oregon bar, which we'll see in a second, the chain itself, again Oregon, so decent make, and the instructions. Let's start with fitting the bar and the chain. You need to put the chain on the bar first, rather handily. I wish all bars were like this. This shows you the orientation of the chain. So we're going to have it mounted like this. Next we're going to unscrew this, and you'll see you've also got similar kind of markings there, just to make sure you don't completely mess it up. So this is going to go in here, so I'll bring it loosely round and then drop this in like this. Make sure the chain is mostly fitted all the way around. You should then be able to drop this in. And just tighten it up. Now, this chain needs to be fairly tight. So here it's far too loose. And if you leave it like that, then the chain's going to leave the chainsaw, which is not going to be a good day out. So we want to get the chain in here, tighten it up so that there's just a bit of give, top and bottom. That's probably not tight enough, so there's a little bit more. And of course, as the chain gets used, it will slacken off, so you're going to want to tighten that up as you go. So that's that mostly on. Doesn't feel massively secure at the back, I would say, but anyway, it's on. The next thing we've got to do is top up the oil. There is a min max here. So, well, there's a min, there's not really a max. Max is when it's leaking out the top. So we're going to put all of our very meagre supply of oil in here. In fact, yes you are. So that is giving us probably about a quarter of what the capacity is. Tighten that up so we don't spray oil everywhere. Now that oil is applied to the blade as it goes round, so this is definitely a consumable, as in as you use this, this oil is going to go down. So it's not like many other things where you oil it every few months and hope for the best. You definitely want to keep this topped up. Actually, before we put both batteries in, let's talk about safety for a second. The first safety is that it needs to be tightened up, which it is. Let's always check that we don't have it too loose. The next safety feature is, like most power tools, there's a traditional thumb and trigger to fire. And then the final safety, which is unique to chainsaws, is this. Now this is the kickback arrestor. So this is also why you always only ever use this left hand to left, right hand to right, never any other way around, definitely not one-handed. And the reason for this is that if this is pressed forward, then the power to the blade is cut. And that's because one of the most common occurrences with a chainsaw is kickback, where it will fly back towards your face. And if it's flying back towards your face, then your wrist ends up hitting that stop. So we're going to make sure that that is off just now. Fit both batteries. And when we try to fire this up, nothing will happen because this safety switch is forward. So click, nothing. Bring it forward. Now the next safety and final safety is the chain brake. When this comes to a stop, this chain should stop immediately. So let's try that. And it doesn't. So that's an interesting, not great feature of this Cheng chainsaw. Okay, well let's make sure that this works. Ah, interesting. Okay, so you see there was a chain break there. So let's do that one more time. So that breaks the chain immediately, but just powering off doesn't break the chain. Huh. Okay, I've not seen a chainsaw do that before. Okay, so we're ready to use it. Okay, so this is a piece of about 5-inch thick, fairly dry log. So before we get started, let's do a couple of safety checks. First off, let's make sure that the chain is tight, that it doesn't start when the emergency handle is pushed forward, and that the emergency handle does work. Okay, and let's get to it. Now before we do, I've seen some videos where people are cutting like up here, and all of that's great if you're like a really skilled woodworking sculptor. But for the rest of us, that's not how you're supposed to use these. What you're supposed to do is rest these teeth against the piece and then rotate around it like that. And that's far safer, and that's far less likely to give you kickback. So let's give that a shot. So rest the teeth. Check for tension. One more go. Safety re-engaged, and so this is the DCCS Cheng 40161 40 centimeter 16-inch battery powered chainsaw. Works really well, not least because it's got an Oregon chain and an Oregon arm, but for ease of use out and about where you can't easily get a mains powered saw into play, it's going to be really useful for tidying up fallen trees, that kind of thing. So for the price, it seems like a decent buy.